Hello, everyone. This is Troy Harper, and welcome to Harper Cigar Lounge, Episode 6. I've been very anxious to get back with you guys again and hang out. Hope you guys will have a great time today. I appreciate all of you that are tuning in and for all your support that you've been showing me. And I'm very excited to um, be able to hang out with you guys for a little bit and teach you some tips and discuss some memories within the music business that I used to be a part of, and just concerts I used to go to, and just we'll be discussing topics from the music world as well, and we'll just discuss everyday things, whatever comes up, So, but I hope you guys will have a great time today, and I just want to remind you guys to make sure you tune into my new Facebook group page under Harper Cigar Lounge as well, and getting quite a few members. It's only been up since the 14th of February. Got 180 members as well now, and on the YouTube podcasts, getting some decent views, and just make sure you let your friends know about it. Anyone you know that's a cigar smoker and that loves heavy metal, know, uh, make sure you let them know about this page and the YouTube channel, and hopefully that they will find it enjoyable and want to keep tuning in. So. But anyway, again, thank you for joining me today, and just want to remind everyone that I don't do this for the money. I don't do this for any money. I'm not being sponsored by anybody. This is all out of my own passion for my love of cigars and heavy metal, hard rock music, and that's what this was created for you guys, for all of you that enjoy cigars and hard rock heavy metal. So. I hope you guys will be able to escape today and get a good vibe going at your place, and just put away all your worries and just hang out, enjoy yourself, and just escape. So, but anyway, let me kind of show you what cigar I'm going to be getting into reviewing today and smoking. It's the Southern Draw Firethorn. Try to get a close up on that. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. But anyway, a little information on this stick. It's a Toro 6x52, and it's got a medium to full body flavor taste notes to it. The wrapper is Habano, Rosado, and Ecuador, and the binder is San Andreas, Mexico, and the filler is Nicaragua. Tasty notes of sweet toffee, baking spices, carrot cake, and aromatic cedar. Sorry, aromatic cedar. So anyway, it sounds like it's going to be a pretty good cigar, I think. So, but anyway, what are you all up to today? I hope your week's been going good. I hope everything's going well for you. I'm doing better. Thanks for putting up with me on the last episode, which was episode 5. I had the sniffles throughout it. I was kind of getting over a head cold and getting over from being sick. And I'm doing much better now. I feel very, very good, and I'm not having the symptoms like I used to. So we should have a great time today, and should get through this episode and smoothly and with no issues of my runny nose or anything. So, but anyway, so yeah, I'm doing great. I'm doing so much better, and again, thank you guys for putting up with me. So, anyway, I just want to say cheers to all of you. Hope you've got your drink and something to smoke that you want to do today while you're hanging out with me, and I'll show you what I'm drinking today. It's tequila, and it's a Tremana tequila, and this was made by Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. This is his line of tequila. So, but it's pretty good. Pretty good. If you see this anywhere, um, check it out if you're a tequila person. So, trying to see if there you go. Can you guys see that? Okay, that's a little better. So, anyway, check that tequila out if you see it. Try it out. It's really good. Really good. And it's organic. It's all natural. So really good stuff. And then I'm also drinking a little bit of Stella cherry wine here, black cherry wine. And so But anyway, cheers to you guys again. Raise my glass to you guys one more time. Cheer to you. And again, thank you for hanging out today, guys. I hope you'll have a great time today. I'm going to get into some cigar tips from what I know, and hopefully, if you're a new beginner with smoking cigars, or maybe you're experienced, hopefully you will learn something today. So, but anyway, I'll get into some of my just past with just my experiences with going to concerts and got a little bit of memorabilia to show you, and got a few of some of my old records and some different CDs that I kind of broke out of my vault, I guess you could say, um, out of my collection to share with you guys to see if you remember any of them, or see if it maybe brings back some memories for you or anything. So anyway, but I'm gonna get into this cigar, and I want to. I'm anxious to try this and to see how it is. I've never had this particular cigar before, so hopefully it's going to be a good cigar. So anyway, if you guys have had this Southern Draw Firethorn, let me know what you think about it. I'll be curious to know. So, but anyway, for you beginners, when you get a cigar like this, take full advantage of it. Smell the wrapper. So many great aromas that come off of cigars, from the wrapper. Just take it all in. All the aromas that you can get from this cigar. I get some nice smells from the foot, um, and then also the cap, which we'll cut here in a moment. I like to moisten a little bit and taste the wrapper, which is a good way to do that. And by moistening it, I won't take a chance on it cracking when I cut into it. So. Hmm. And actually, the wrapper's got kind of a nice little bit of a chocolatey taste to it. Yeah, definitely. That tastes pretty good alone there. So anyway, but I'm gonna be probably using a guillotine cutter today, and I got this from the Deadwood Tobacco Company over in Deadwood, South Dakota. And as you can see on the back, on this side, it's got a covering here. What it does, it keeps me from cutting too deep into my cigar. With a regular, with an open guillotine cutter like this, you got to be really careful not to go too deep when you're cutting that cap. So you just want to be very careful not to go too deep if you do use a cutter like this. Um, but anyway, but today I always like to use these. Just I like to play it safe. Some cigars will be like a torpedo shape on the end. Some will have like a little pigtail. And with those kind of cigars, you're going to have to definitely use, the open cut or the opened, I don't know what you want to call this, but where it's opened up, you want to use those kind of guillotine cutters for anything like that. But today, since it's got the rounded end, I'll be able to use this one here. So, but anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut this cap. Give it one more taste here. And as you can see, it's caused me to not go too deep on that. And then let's see here. Actually, I didn't do very well on that. I got to cut that one more time here. I thought I got it pretty good. There we go. Now I got it. So anyway, there's the end of it now that I've cut. Let's see, I'm trying to get it. There we go. And as you can see inside my cutter, it captured that cap that came off. So now I can just take that off and just throw it in my ashtray. Okay. Now that I've got that cut, I'll go ahead and do a cold draw on it. And what I'm doing with the cold draw is I'm sucking in on it to get some flavor notes from that as well. And also, it's kind of telling me if my draw is going to be good. If I don't cut enough off, I might have a hard time getting air through it when I suck in on it. If I've gotten too much cut off, it might be a really loose, might be really like I can really suck in very easily and with no effort. If it's just perfect, then of course I'll know that just because it's not too much or too little of what I'm drawing in. But with the taste notes, I'm getting from the cold draw, I'm getting a little bit of cedar, um, getting a little bit of, to me anyway, a little bit of like a like a cocoa or dark chocolate. Um, so those are the kind of taste notes I'm getting. So anyway, so we'll see what I get after I light it. And then I've got all kinds of lighters. I keep different lighters around just for different situations that I might be in. If I'm outside and it's a little bit of a breeze outside, I'll use a torch lighter like that. This is a 3 torch, but I'll use one of those. It just helps light when there's a lot of when there's some wind outside. It'll help with that. Um, and this is another one that I've got as well. Nice torch lighter there with the 3 flame. This one also I got this. This is a 2 torch, and I got this from the Deadwood Tobacco Company. And so that one's got 2, and that's the one I'm going to use today. I think. I also got this one here. It's a single flame lighter. Anyway, sorry about that. I'm not sure what that's called. That goes on in my basement. If it's something that that gets the water through my house. I'm not sure what. It's something that's cleaning it cleans. I don't know, guys. I can't explain it. Anyway, so that goes off once in a while down here, so I apologize. Hopefully, that won't ruin what I'm doing here today with you guys. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to use this 2 torch flame lighter. And what I want to do first, I want to just toast the ends. I want to just kind of go through and just toast the end of my cigar. And this one's got a covering on it all the way over the top. So I'm going to go ahead and start lining this over my ashtray just so I don't get any burnt tobacco onto my table here. So, but anyway, but what I want to do is I just want to keep the cigar away from the flame as much as I can, just so it will heat the end up. And then I'll turn my cigar while I do it. And I start from the middle and then work my way to the outer areas. And I just keep turning until I see that it's all glowing orange. And then I'll blow on it. And if it's all glowing orange, then I know it's ready for me to either continue to light it a little bit more or just go ahead and start puffing on it. So, but let me get started here. So as you can see, I'm just going to keep it away from that cigar as much as I can. And actually, this is doing okay. I wasn't sure if tobacco that's coming off or that's covering the edge of or the foot of this was going to blow around everywhere. I wasn't sure, but it's actually doing very well, so I won't have to keep it over my ashtray, I guess. As you can see, I'm just keeping it away from that flame, and I'm just getting it all toasted there good. I just want to get it all completely lit so I get a nice even burn, and so I get a really nice experience with the cigar today. So, okay, and I'm blowing on it, and it's all glowing orange, so it's obviously ready for me to go. And I thought I'd give it just a little bit of an extra light, just to make sure it stays lit for me. Um, right off the bat, I get a lot of cedar. and some pepper, um, definitely. And I can maybe get a little bit of some kind of different spices that they're talking about in here. I actually did get just a little bit of tobacco on my paperwork here. That's okay. No harm done. But anyway, so it said that there's like a sweet toffee taste, baking spices, carrot cake, and aromatic cedar. I'm definitely getting some cedar. And the draw is great, actually. I actually cut this just right, I think. The draw is really good. And a lot of great aroma from the smoke. And it's got a nice cedar smell to the smoke. Um, and I'm not getting any of the sweet toffee yet, but maybe I will here pretty soon. But definitely getting the cedar, and they're not mentioning anything about pepper, but I could swear that I taste just a little bit of pepper, and maybe that's what they're talking about with some of the baking spices. Maybe there's some kind of spice that they're thinking of that I'm thinking of more of like a sweeter spice, like a cinnamon or nutmeg or something, and maybe they're thinking of more like regular spices. So I don't know, but I'm getting definitely some kind of pepper type taste as well. But as you can see, I got it lit very well. It's I don't have any areas that are dark or black, so I've obviously have lit it pretty well. So, but yeah, I definitely say this is definitely a full or a medium to full strength flavored cigar. Definitely, I don't know if I'd recommend this for a beginner. Probably more for the experienced smokers. It's definitely a little bit of a stronger cigar so far. So anyway, so far it's got a nice even burn all the way around, and I'm starting to see some nice ash developing on it, some nice white grayish ash. So that's doing good so far. So pretty happy with this so far. So, and then one thing I wanted to kind of bring up um, on the bands, I've brought this up in my other videos. Don't take these bands off immediately. Leave them on. Let that cigar get burned down to close to those bands. And then once that happens, then you can kind of carefully peel those off, and it won't ruin your cigar. Because what happens if you peel them off immediately, you're taking a risk of pulling off part of that outer wrapper. And when that happens, then you're taking then what it can happen is it can start unraveling, cracking on you, and that kind of a thing. And then before you know, your cigar falls apart, and you won't be able to finish it. And it'll be not a very good experience for you. I'll just say that I've made that mistake myself in the beginning of learning about cigars, and I've learned not to do that. And it's nice to look at them. I mean, this one's got a really pretty wrapper, and a lot of cigars have really pretty wrappers, so it gives you a chance to enjoy those wrappers a little bit more before you take them off. And um, so yeah, I do like the wrappers on the. I like the cigar bands on here. Is what I meant to say, cigar bands. If I didn't say that in the beginning, but yeah, the cigar bands are really really nice on this. I really think they're pretty. So anyway, but yeah, so what will happen then once your cigar warms up? There's pectin that they use to seal these bands together. So when that pectin gets warm, then it causes that to loosen up a little bit better for you, and you can peel it off. And make sure you do it easily still, but you can peel it off really easily, and you won't, ruin your cigar. So just take my advice on that because I've learned the hard way, and so just be patient and wait. So anyway, so like I said, I've got a little bit of tequila, a little bit of wine. I was curious which one pairs best with this cigar. So I like to experiment with different drinks, and sometimes a lot of time actually I like to drink coffee with my cigars. But I like to try different things. I'm not really a big whiskey person. I do like Southern Comfort. It's a little bit of a sweeter, milder whiskey. I'm not really into the real strong, harsh tasting whiskeys. I'm more of a rum and tequila person. Um, and fortunately, I used up the last of my rum on the last video, so I got to get myself some more. But I'm really into the like the private stock Captain Morgan rum. That's probably one of my favorites, and that's what I usually buy most of the time. So, but anyway, but I got some tequila, a little bit of wine. We'll see how those do with this. So anyway, but when I pair things, I like to take a drink of my drink first and then puff. It it will kind of enhance the flavor of my cigars sometimes, pretty well. So, and actually, the wine's pairing very well. It's yeah, it's caused my cigar to have just a little bit more of a sweeter taste to it, actually. So anyway, that paired very well. And again, I'm drinking the Stella Black Cherry wine, is what that is. And I carry these at my grocery store that I manage here in Kimball, Nebraska. I've got all kinds of flavors of the Stellas, but I do recommend the Stella wines with cigars. They really do pair well. Um, and then I carry a lot of spirits and beers at my store too. I'm not drinking one today, but I'm a very, very big fan of the Shiner beers. And the last Shiner beer I picked up, which I carry at my store as well, is the Shiner Trail Mix. It's got a lot of chocolate, dates, like dried fruit kind of flavors, nuts as well. So once again, cheers to you guys. Well, I'm gonna say the tequila is good, and it tastes fairly decent with the cigar. But I think I do like the wine a little bit better with the cigar. But I do like the tequila with it as well. But the wine gives it just a little bit more of a sweeter taste of the wrapper after I after I take a sip of that before I puff. But the tequila don't do too bad either. Really, it gives my cigar just a little bit more of a bitter taste when I'm breathing in on the cigar. So, but anyway, you guys, please communicate with me. Let me know where you're from, and let me know what your hobbies are, what cigars you're into, what spirits or beers or wines you're into with your cigars. Just any kind of hobbies you're into. Let me know about any of your music experiences, what kind of music you're into. As you know, this channel is more geared towards hard rock, heavy metal music, but I'm a big fan of other music too. I'm a huge Fleetwood Mac fan, Journey fan, REO Speedwagon, and then love new wave stuff. I'm into the old Berlin music and Missing Persons, U2. Oh gosh, Duran Duran. There's a lot of great bands out there. The Police, of course. But my favorite love is, my love for music. Number one, number one is definitely hard rock heavy metal. So definitely hard rock heavy metal. That's will always be my favorite. And I got into hard rock heavy metal just from learning about, finding out about Kiss back here when I was 7 years old. Actually, when I was 6 years old, I was listening to some compilation albums my mom had, and it had Alice Cooper, "School's Out" on it, and it had Kiss on there. They were singing the song on there was the "Calling Dr. Love" song that Gene Simmons sings, and of course I didn't put two together at the time who Kiss was, and that I didn't know anything about Kiss at the time when I heard that song. I did like the song. I thought it was real kind of a dark kind of a song, and it definitely caught my attention as well as Alice Cooper. I was starting to kind of like Alice Cooper a little bit, but was still trying to find my way with what music I liked. My parents had bought me a bunch of cassettes when I was now not quite 6 years old. I think it was my fifth birthday. They bought me some old REO Speedwagon, the Beach Boys, and Elvis, and I'm trying to think of what else there was. I can't. Yeah, an old Oriole Speedwagon, if I didn't mention that. And it was good. The Oriole Speedwagon is what I took to the most out of that at the time. It was a little bit harder edge, which I was really liking that sound a lot. And then heard the Calling Dr. Love song. And then I started hanging out with the kid. Uh, uh, and this was back in Shatter, Nebraska. But anyway, I was 7 years old. Started hanging out with this kid that I met. He was playing basketball with me and football. And then one day he invited me up to his bedroom and got up into his bedroom. And my gosh, there was like kiss stuff just everywhere. His parents went to Denver every weekend for some kind of a business trip they were on. And they would bring him back all kinds of kiss stuff. And so he had figurines and he had trading cards and all kinds of posters and all kinds of stuff. And when I first saw the picture of them, I was just blown away by the way they looked and didn't know what to think at first, but I thought it was pretty intriguing that these guys were dressed the way they were. They almost remind me of superheroes, which a lot of people that are huge Kiss fans out there described them the same way as I thought of them being, was like superheroes, and that they weren't really human, and just their outfits and their makeup. It was just quite the sight, and I just really digged it, and I wanted to know more, and so I started having him play me the music. And so the first thing he put in for me was Kiss Alive 2, and heard that opening track on Kiss Alive 2. Um, and it was King of the Nighttime World, and and I was just blown away and fell in love immediately. And then I started having him show me pictures of all the members more, and my dad was a guitarist when he was alive, sang when I was younger and played guitar, and always was interested in that. But when I saw the picture of Peter Criss playing his drums, and then when I heard him singing, Mainline and Beth and Lady Baby Driver, I heard, also over time, and just all the different songs I heard from Peter Criss. I just loved his raspy voice, and just went crazy for Peter Criss and his drum set. And I saw an overview picture of him with his drum set wrapped around him, and I thought, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to learn drums, and so I over time started hanging out with kids that had older brothers that had drum sets, and I'd sneak off and start playing on their drums, and the kids would get pissed off at me and tell me they didn't want to hang out with me anymore and made me leave. So, but over time, I'd always search out or see kids, that had, family members that had a drum set in their house. I would overhear conversations about those things and start gravitating towards those kids, and or just getting to know kids. What they would just bring up that their older brother had a drum set or something, and so I'd always talk them into going to their house so I could hang out and go sneak off to go play on their drums. So the kids finally started catching on that. Those orders while I was hanging out with them, so I could sneak off and go play on their drums. So anyway, my parents ended up buying me my own drum set when I was 8 years old, and for Christmas they bought me a cheap Sears drum set, and that was the best gift. Still to this day, that I feel that was the best gift I'd ever received from my parents, was that drum set. And I took it downstairs, and it lasted me not even an hour. That drum set, it had paper heads on it, except for the snare and the bass drum. They both had plastic heads, but the rest of it was all paper. And the cymbals were really cheap. But I destroyed that drum set within the hour. Not even an hour it lasted. So then I walked around that dang snare drum that was left over from it, and I would walk around the house and practice different beats that I heard Peter Criss doing on his set, and I would go downstairs and just over and over play my records to Peter Criss's music, and just practice his singing and practice his techniques on that one snare drum. And so over time, still found a way to play on drum sets. And then when I was 16, got a job washing dishes, and so I ended up finally getting to buy my own drum set. It was a CB700, which was a knockoff from Tama. at the time. And well, then as time went on, I got involved with garage bands and ended up buying, started borrowing drum sets from other people that were in my band and stuff. And they had family that were, that were musicians and had left behind some equipment. So I had been in a garage band for a little bit, my senior year in high school, and got to borrow this big drum set. And I added it to my set that I had bought, and had this huge drum set. So it was almost like what Peter Criss had from Kiss, and so fortunately, drugs that the guys were doing at the time kind of killed everything. We really did well together. We had dates set to go play and at different bars and little bars and clubs, and but because of the drugs, it kind of killed everything. They wouldn't show up to practice and everything. Found out they were out, trying to buy drugs and stuff, and so I told them to take everything and shove it up their ass, pretty much. But anyway, I ended up moving off to Florida and got involved in music down there and got to do drum tech and everything. And then as time went on, later on in the years, I kind of formed one of my own bands and kept playing. And but so anyway, but right now I don't have my drums anymore. I had sold them, which I'm still so regretful of it. But I sold them to pay for a wedding that I had with my previous wife, and so I regret that to this day. I sold all my stage equipment, my drums, my bass guitar, my mics, smoke machines, lights, everything, stage lights. I had it all and sold it all to pay for this dream wedding she wanted. And so I still this day I regret that. I regret it so much. But maybe one day I'll end up getting, some drums again and play again. But anyway, so my son, my oldest son, and my youngest son both are into music, and they dabble with quite a bit of stuff, and they're doing their own stuff, and they're doing really well. So I'm glad music is continuing to be passed on through the family. So, but again, maybe here one day soon I'll pick up a bass and maybe pick up some drums and play on those a little bit more. But I've been busy with my grocery store that I manage, and that keeps me happy. It's been a very challenging job from day one for managing my own grocery store. I've been managing my own grocery store for almost 6 years now. Been with the company which is called Panhandle Co-op. I've been with them 20 years, and then they bought out a store that I was with for 3 years previous, back in Torrington, Wyoming. So I've been involved with retail for a little while, but I'm really enjoying life though, and I've got a great wife. We got married. This September will be a year. We've been together for 3 years almost now, and but we get along great, and she's been such a huge support to me. She's the one that helped start this whole cigar lounge and everything for me, and I just couldn't ask for a better wife. We get along so well, and we graduated together in high school. And if you've got on my Facebook page, my own personal Facebook page, or the Harper Cigar Lounge Facebook page, group page, you've seen the post of me and her in high school together, and some recent pictures of us. Oh, yep, I just dropped my ash. The one thing I did want to do, but anyway, no harm done really. So anyway, yeah, if you when you're smoking a cigar, you don't want you. It's nice to see the ash and everything, but you don't want to let it ash for keep the ash too long, especially if you're indoors, because it will fall off and everything. So, but I just want to make sure it didn't burn my carpet underneath here. My wife bought me a really nice carpet, and so I just want to make sure I didn't do any damage here to that. So, but anyway, but no damage done. So I'm good. I won't be in trouble. But yeah, this cigar is really good, guys. It's still keeping some of the taste notes that I had started off with, but I'm definitely getting a little bit of a sweetness to it now. Uh, the pepper, not so much now that I was tasting, or whatever spice it was. I'm not tasting that as much now. Getting more of the little bit of a sweetness. Um, and still getting some of the cedars. And maybe describe that there's a sweet toffee taste note to it. And that might be what I'm kind of getting now, but I am getting a little bit of a sweetness to it, definitely. But anyway, pretty enjoyable cigar so far, everybody. So pretty enjoyable. So anyway, but yeah. So anyway, let me kind of, you know, get into some things. You guys should have plenty of supplies around when you're smoking your cigars, lighters. Especially if you got an area that you like to hang out with your friends and family, have a few different cigar lighters, have a few different cutters. Make sure you have a couple good ashtrays around. Um, this is one that I kind of recently have picked up is, one like this. It's really great for. I mean, this is made for cigars, so it's got a nice deep metal, so your ashes will stay in there um, after you ash your cigar. Um, have some different cutters around. So everyone kind of likes different things when it comes to how they cut their cigars. You know, I've got one it's a V cut. When you put your cigar in there and you close out, it's got kind of a V shaped blade. And some people like that, but for me, it just didn't give me the draw that I wanted. And then on the bottom of my lighters, it's got a punch. You can maybe see that. And that just goes in the end. You twist it into your cap and you just gently pull it out. It'll take a little piece of tobacco out. But with that, even some people like that, but it was kind of hard to punch in for me, and it seemed like it was hard to get that to punch all the way through the way I wanted. And then when I did pull it out, I just didn't get enough airflow. I didn't feel when I was smoking it. So I just kind of did away with that. I got a little bit of ash on my shirt here. Anyway, so I've just been sticking with the regular, guillotine cutters. That's what really works best for me. And you want to just do what works best for you when you're, getting into cigars. But do your research. I listen to podcasts. I read books, and one of the books if you just want to know about different techniques or the history of cigars, my wife picked this book up for me. It's called The Cigar Book, The Ultimate Cigar Book, and it's been a really good book to read. And then if you're looking for a place to kind of keep your bands, um, my wife picked this up for me too. It's got, you can keep your cigar bands in there, and then you can discuss your experiences with your cigars, the taste notes, and everything that goes along with it. What cigar it was, the size of it. Um, just right down to the taste notes, the aromas you got. That you can discuss the construction of the cigar if you're happy with that or not, and then it lets you give a rating on how you felt about the cigar. So that's kind of a neat thing, and then this also we found this box and I kind of pasted cigar bands to that, and so that's been really nice. I keep my koozies in that. And then you want to make sure you have some kind of a humidor. And I've got four little desktop. I've got four different desktop humidors. I got a couple smaller ones. I've got a couple bigger ones, and they've got the Spanish cedar inside is what you need when you do that. And then um, I've got travel humidors. This one holds 10 cigars, and I do use these for traveling, but when I'm at home, I usually keep some extra cigars in these as well. And this one holds 20 cigars. Um, and then to keep my cigars humidified, I keep Oveda packs for different occasions, or depending on what size of humidor I'm using. Um, I've got this one this is and I do the 72%, but this is a 72%, and this is a size 8 gram, but I use that one for my travel humidors. Um, and then I've also got this little thing here that my son bought me, and it's got a cutter with it. But you open this up, and you can keep 2 or 3 cigars in there, and it's got Spanish cedar on the inside as well. Really nice leather outer covering, and it's got a nice heavy chrome piece on the bottom. You can stand it up if you want. But that there I'll usually use for something small like that. I will use this Moveda pack right here, Um, this is the 69%, and this is a size 4 gram. So I use that for my little 2 or 3 cigar holder there. And then for my bigger humidors, this size are bigger. The holds 20 cigars or more. I will use this one here, and this one is a 60 gram, but I'll use this one as well. So, and I use these, in my desktop humidors, in my travel humidor that holds 20 cigars. Usually, one of these will work just one of these will work for my 20 cigar holder humidor, travel humidor. For my desktop humidors, I usually got to use 2 to 3 in there as well, maybe a little more depending on how big the desktop humidor is. I some of my humidors, my bigger ones, um, I it holds about 100 cigars, so that one I use about 4 to 6 in that one. Um, I use 2 on the very bottom, and then I do after my first layer of cigars, I'll use 2 more, and then my third layer of cigars, I'll use 2 more on the top of that, and it keeps it around 68, anywhere between 66 to 68 humidity levels, around 69, 70 for the temps. And then I also got a couple little things I put in there that you can put distilled water into, and it lets out humidity as well. A little round, I don't know what you call them. They're just a little round. It's a little round thing that you put water in, and it lets the humidity escape out of it. So I got those in my desktop humidors as well. So it all works together pretty well. I had to play with my temps. I had to play with how many Levada packs I'm going to have in there, and I just have to play with things. Until I get the humidity levels where I want them. Sorry, I wanted to get a puff in before I lit. I didn't want it to burn out on me here. One thing about cigars, if you don't puff on them enough, they can burn out on you, or kind of go out on you, and then you got to relight it, which, it happens. And this one is starting to go out a little bit. I've just been talking too much here and not puffing enough. So give it a little bit of a relight here real quick. Using my torch lighter just so it's a little quicker. There we go. Good as new. So anyway, and then I was going to tell you guys also, before I forget, when I'm breathing in the smoke, there it goes again. It's a spaceship, I think, behind my wall. Anyway, when you're breathing in on your cigars, you don't want to inhale them. It's not like a cigarette. You don't want to inhale it down into your chest. You want to hold that smoke in your mouth, and you want to get the taste from the smoke, and then you just release it back out of your mouth, and then enjoy the aromas, from the smoke in the air. So, anyway, but but what was I saying here? But anyway, no, but make sure you got your research, research things. You just got to play with your humidity levels. But what I was going to tell you is you don't want to let your humidity levels get between 62% humidity. You don't want to get your cigars over 72% humidity. If it's over 72%, your cigars can get too moist. They can unravel when you go to smoke them. You can get cigar beetles that will hatch eggs, and then it will spread to all your cigars in your cigar humidor. So you don't want that, because if you're investing a lot of money into your cigars, then you've just ruined all your cigars. So you don't want that to happen. If you allow it to go between or under 62%, you're taking a chance on your cigars drying out and cracking when you go to smoke it. So you don't want them too dry, you don't want them too moist. So you just want to keep them, anywhere between 62 and 72. My lighter cigars that are more a lighter shade of wrapper on it, which I meant to tell you, the wrapper on those cigars has been great. It's really nice and oily. It's not too bumpy. There's some veins that run through it, but it's not too bumpy. just a real smooth, nice wrapper is what I meant to also bring up about the cigar that I'm really liking so far. So, but yeah, so keep your cigars, in between the 62 and 72% range. My Maduro cigars, which are the darker wrapper cigars, they can stay at a little bit of a higher range of humidity. But your lighter colored cigars, they have like a real light brown wrapper around it. Those you want to maybe keep at a little bit of a lower humidity level. So, um, the cigars will last you, gosh, probably your whole life if you, keep them, stored the right way and keep the humidity levels, the temps where they need to be. But when you decide to get into cigars, if you're new to this right now and you're thinking, I think I want to continue, you know, learning about cigars and continue to smoke them. I mean, just there's all kind of podcasts you can listen to, and all kinds of podcasts on YouTube. Videos you can watch. There's audio stuff you can watch or listen to. I've got two books downloaded on my phone about cigars. My wife's picked me up. The two books I showed you. But I listen to Cigar Authority, and I listen to that almost daily, and I watch their videos on YouTube, and I've signed up. I've subscribed to their videos, so I get notifications anytime they bring out something new. I belong to Cigars Daily. I listen to their YouTube podcasts quite often. And then Cigar Authority, they've also got another show called Ash Holes, which is great, and I listen to that. And I subscribe to that on YouTube as well, so I can get alerts. But I do want to say to my new friend David Garofalo, which David's the owner, founder, and president of Two Guys Cigars.com, and he's out of Hudson, New Hampshire, and he's got three store locations down that way. One in Salem, one in Nashua, and one in Seabrook. And we've just became friends, and so we've communicated back and forth. And he gave me a thumbs up, pretty much on what I'm doing, and so I hope to get to know you, my friend, and I hope to continue to learn from you. I've learned a lot from you already, but I want to say hi to you, and I would just want to tell you thank you for all your feedback and everything. So you're someone I really look up to a lot, and I just continue to want to learn from you and your staff. And I just want to tell you thank you for the service you're doing. And between you and Tim Swanson on Cigars Daily, I've learned a lot. And if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be where I'm at now with what I do know. And what I've been doing has been working very well for me. But you guys got to do what works for you out there. You got to find out what works best for you. Everyone's got their preferences of everything, how they light, how they cut, how they store their cigars. But you're the one spending the money on them, and it's up to you how you want to do it. But I'm just letting you know what I know so far and what's been working for me. So, but I also want to say hi to another new buddy of mine, Matt Griffith, or Matt Richard is what he has on his Facebook page. He owns the Cigar Room, which was established a couple of years ago, and he's out of Columbus, Ohio. And so, from what I'm seeing with him so far, he's got some really good things going. He's into more of the rare cigars. He's a big collector of rare cigars, and he's got some of his own blends and different things. And so we've kind of connected. So hopefully we'll be able to do business soon, my friend. But I want to say hi to you as well, and both of you guys. Thank you for your support to me as well, and I appreciate you guys communicating with me, and Matt, I appreciate you signing up on my YouTube channel as well as my Facebook page, and let's keep communicating, and hopefully we can learn from each other, and but I can't wait to get to know you guys more, and hopefully do some business with both of you. I really hope. I do carry premium cigars in my grocery store, like I've maybe if you guys have heard my past shows, you've heard me mention that. But I've got around 30 different cigars, and they're all premiums, and a wide variety of different companies, and but I've brought in what I know is the absolute best, that you can get your hands on. So I've been very proud of that. So, I've been in the cigar business now, for selling them. I've been in the business a little bit of over a year now. So, but this town that I live in, there's only around 2,500 people here in Kimball, Nebraska, and there's no one in town that sold premium cigars. And one of our bigger stores where our corporate office is over in Scottsbluff, Nebraska. They've always carried a big range of premium cigars, and of course their town is around 12,000 people, and so there's a couple other places in Scottsbluff that sell cigars as well. But they they have a pretty good variety, and I've really been enjoying getting cigars from them. And that's where my wife was getting them for me in the beginning too. But I thought it would be nice to have them at my own store to where I have access when I want cigars. And of course, when the community wants them, I have them as well. So that way people can, stay in town and be able to get cigars and not have to worry about going out of town all the time. And I'm all for ordering cigars online. I do get cigars, online. If I like to, try a lot of different cigars, but I can only bring in so many to my store. I've only got room for so many, so there's a lot of cigars that I want to try. So I'll look for deals on the internet, and order through different sites. But the site that we order through for my store is called the Cigar Store, and Bill Wright is the owner of that, and so that's who we contact for our cigars in my store. But there's a lot of great sites out there. Cigars Daily and Two Guys Cigar Shop, and Cigar Place are really three great sites to go to for cigars. So check those sites out if you're trying to find some good deals, and if you're on a tight budget, maybe you can get some really good premium cigars in 5 packs, 10 packs, singles, boxes for some really really great prices. So, but if you guys are in the Kimball, Nebraska area or in Kimball, Nebraska, and you're passing through, stop at Main Street Market here in Kimball. You can't miss it. It's the only big grocery store here in town that's here, and so when you are in this area, and you're driving by, stop in and say hi to me. If you're looking for some good cigars, I'll give you some great deals on those. So I'm gonna have to give this another light here, I guess. But anyway, guys, I'm really enjoying this today, hanging out with you, and I appreciate you guys tuning in today again. And hopefully, this will be the last time I got to relight this. But I'm just talking a little bit too much and not smoking enough, obviously. But we'll get into some music stuff now a little bit, and but yeah, message me. Let me know what groups you're into, what experiences you've had, if you have had any, and um, let me know about some of the past memories of experiences you've had with music and everything. If you've been a part of the music business, or if you are a concert goer and you've gone to a lot of concerts, and if you met some of your heroes, um, let me know what experiences you've had. I like to hear stories, and it's funny. Bring up David Garofalo from Two Guys Cigar Shop with us talking today through messaging. Um, he told me that he was a part of Expose and did some work with them. And I used to work with Expose and worked with them for about a month back in '90 and back in Miami Beach, and did a whole Florida circuit tour with them. They were doing Navy bases and outside venues, and so I did the whole Florida circuit with them back in '90. And so come to find out, he had some history of the expose as well. So that was really cool to hear. And I do like a little bit of the expose music. Of course, they're the dance music genre. And I believe it or not, I do like some dance songs too. David, I am into some of that a little bit too. Gosh, I don't know. I'm not deep into the music, dance music scene, but there are some dance songs that I kind of like. But it's probably the last music on my list that I would say I like. And for when it comes to country, not really into country too much. More into the '90s country, if there's any country I'm into. Brooks and Dunn, and some Garth Brooks stuff, and I don't know, Alan Jackson, and there's a lot of good acts that came out of the '90s. One group that I'm very familiar with is the Mavericks. I worked with Robert Reynolds back in a restaurant called Stewart's back in Miami Beach, and it was when I was trying to get my foot into the door of working with music. I just started going to school for it at a school called Career Institutes of America. Started going to school for it, and I was just trying to find a job anywhere. So I got a dishwashing job at this place called Stewart's Restaurant down in Miami Beach, um, right along the beach there, and met a guy named Robert Reynolds, and he told me he was in a band called the Mavericks, and they were doing all the clubs. And I remember on his breaks, he'd always play the bass guitar, and we started getting to know each other. And next thing I know is he's having me mail out me and my roommate at the time that I had for a short time. We were kind of mailing out some different promotional packages, radio stations, record labels for him. And well, next thing I know, he came to me one day at work and said, "Well, we got our record contract. We're moving to Nashville." So he went off to Nashville, and we still keep in touch. Me and Robert still keep in touch. He was married to Trisha Yearwood at one time, and that didn't happen. That I mean, of course, things fell apart between him and Trisha, and she ended up marrying Garth Brooks. But anyway, Robert, if this video finds you, want to say hi to you, buddy, and hope you're doing well. Hopefully, we can talk on the phone here soon again. But anyway, so if you guys know who the Mavericks are, let me know. What you know of them. But Robert Reynolds isn't with them anymore. He's got some of his own stuff he's working on. But anyway, but yeah. So me and Robert Reynolds, we've been friends for a long time and still stay in touch as much as we can. Anyway, we're both busy. So anyway, getting some good smoke off of this cigar. Wow, a lot of great smoke off of this. Right now for air cleaners down here, we've got the Viva air cleaner, which I'm going to be looking at Rabbit Air for my cigar lounge down here. I hear a lot of great things about Rabbit Air. So I'm going to be looking into that more. So if any of you guys have a Rabbit Air in your cigar lounge or in your house where you smoke, let me know what you think of those as well. Um, but like I said, I'm not being sponsored by anybody. I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing this out of my own passion for cigars and for music. So anyway, but yeah, so let me kind of get into some music news. Just want to bring up, if you guys are Overkill fans, Overkill is a speed metal, thrash metal band, been out since the 80s. They've got a new album coming out on April 14th called Scorched. And if you go to overkill.com or Nuclear Blast Records, you can pre-order that album or CD, whatever you prefer. So that's coming out April 14th, like I said, of this year. And then Guns N' Roses, they've been doing a lot of touring, but they're going to continue touring. So they just announced a big world tour that they're doing. And so that's something that's in the works right now for them to continue doing. So they got that planned. And then Joe Perry from Aerosmith. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with the Joe Perry project, but he's actually putting that band back together, and they're going to start doing some dates starting in April. They don't have a huge tour set, but they do have, some dates set where they're going to do that. Still no news on Aerosmith touring anytime soon. I sure hope they do. I've seen them a few times, and I'll get into one experience I had with Aerosmith here in a few. But I really hope that I'll get to see them again. I've seen them a few times, and I really hope to see them again before they hang it up completely. But anyway, if you guys are a big fan of Joe Perry, make sure you guys catch him with the Joe Perry Project when he's out playing live. And I hope maybe he'll be in this area eventually. Maybe I'll get to see him. I don't know, but I've seen Aerosmith a few times. Hopefully I'll get to see him again. My brother has been waiting very patiently. Which hi Grant over in Sheridan, Wyoming. I want to say hi to you. But he's been waiting anxiously to see him as well. We're hoping to go catch them together. I took him to Iron Maiden this last summer, and he'd been wanting to see them, and so he still talks about that show. He was just blown away by that. So we've only seen two concerts. Well, we've seen three. He took me to the Rolling Stones a few years back as well, over in Denver at Mile High Stadium, and that was a great show. Um, and then I took him to go hang out with Striper with me back in 2014 over in Sheridan, Wyoming, where he lives. So we got to go hang out with Striper and lead it forward a little bit. I got to meet some of the other bands that I've mentioned on my previous podcast show, episode 5. Got to see everybody. We did. I forgot to mention we did get to meet LA Guns. That was one of the groups I was playing on that bill for the Rock and the Railroad Festival over in Sheridan, Wyoming in 2014. So got to meet LA Guns, got to meet Lita and hang out for a little bit. Of course, got to hang out with my buddy Striper. Um, got to see Vixen there. They were one of the shows that day, so we got to see them kind of walking around and got to see Winger. So Kid Winger was walking around. Didn't get to talk to him, but he had girls around him all the time, so I never did get to talk with him. And then Cheap Trick was the headliner. So got to see them and kind of got to see them walking around. Didn't really get a chance to talk to them, but mainly it was Lita Ford and Striper, that we were hanging out with that night. And that was August. I think that was August 4th or 14th that I had mentioned is when we got to see them. So so anyway, I'll get to see the guys again in Striper in May. They're going to be over in Denver at the Oriental Theater. So I'll finally get to catch up with those guys and hang out with them. And Timothy Gaines isn't with Striper anymore, but Perry Richardson's been with them, he was the co-founding member of Firehouse. So he's been with them for a few years now. So very anxious to meet Perry. I'm sorry, Perry Richardson. So anyway, another thing I was going to bring up is Geezer Butler, the bass player for Black Sabbath. He's going to be bringing out a biography, and he claims that it's going to be very dramatic, but it's going to be about his whole life, about his life with Black Sabbath and everything. So be looking out for that book if you're a Black Sabbath fan and Geezer Butler fan. I'm a huge Geezer Butler fan, so I would really love to read that. So I hope to get a hold of that when it's out. So, and then recent news also is Steve Vai and Ozzy Osbourne had done an album way back in the early '90s, and Steve Vai has talked about how this album's been sitting around, nothing done with it, and he was helping Ozzy record some stuff for the Osmosis album back in the early '90s, and then they started just kind of messing around in the studio and started recording a bunch of stuff together and never did anything with it. So I'm hoping that maybe they'll end up releasing that, because I don't know if Ozzy's going to bring out any more music or anything, or I know he won't be doing any more touring. He's retired from that. He's planning on doing some stuff for people to watch, some live performances for him to watch, but he wants to stay in one spot and do some live stuff for everybody. And I don't know how he's got that planned on, what he's going to do with that yet. Don't know, but hopefully, hopefully he'll, be doing some stuff soon for us to all tune into and watch. So he's definitely missed. But anyway, so he's still struggling with his back from some surgery that he had a while back, and he's just not able to move around very much like he used to. So Ozzy, I hope you're doing well. I got to see you once in concert, and I got my ticket right here actually. Last time I got to see Ozzy was October 2nd of 2018, and there's my ticket right there from let's see, that was the Pepsi Center over in Denver, Colorado. And so got to see him then, and I haven't seen him since. And gosh, that was a great show. And I sure wish I could have caught some more shows from him. I never did get to see Black Sabbath, so I regret that. But I wish I could have caught Black Sabbath. I wish I could have caught Heaven and Hell with Ronnie James Dio too, which is you know another side project that Black Sabbath had, which was Geezer Butler and Vinny Appice and Tony Iommi, of course, and Ronnie James Dio. But never did get to see that. Rest in peace, Ronnie. Um, you're missed, my Italian brother. And gosh, a lot of the guys that I look up to in music is all Italians like me. So um, Peter Criss from Kiss, Eric Carr, of course Ronnie James Dio, Tony Iommi. Gosh, they're all Italians, and so I've always looked up to those guys and looked up to them before I even realized they were Italian when I was young and growing up. So it's great to know that they're Italians. So anyway, but I'm proud of my Italian heritage. My dad's side of the family all came from Sicily, and so a lot of great stories and things I witnessed. Just a lot of arguing and crying between everybody in the family when we were growing up. It was just crazy, crazy times. But I've always been proud of my Italian heritage. And so anyway, but so just want to mention those guys. I love all of you. And so anyway, but um, anyway, so and then I also wanted to bring up. But anyway, yeah, I mean, hopefully they'll bring out that album that that Steve Vai and Ozzy did together. I hope they'll bring that out eventually and do something with that. It'd be really neat to see that or hear that. I'll definitely make sure I pick that up anyway if it ever does. Um, and speaking of Ozzy, gosh, I don't know if you guys remember um, this album, No Rest for the Wicked, that Ozzy brought out. And this was the first album that Ozzy did with Zakk Wylde, which I'm a huge fan of Zakk Wylde. And of course, when I got to see Ozzy last time, Zakk Wylde was with him. And his guitaring is just great. And of course, he's a part of Black Label Society. And then he's got his own cover band that does Black Sabbath music, which is called Zakk Sabbath. So if you guys ever get a chance to pick up any music from that, or, I don't know if they got any music out with that or not, or if it's just all live stuff. But I've never seen anything recorded. But I know they do live shows, so if you ever get a chance to catch that, do it. It's still on my bucket list to catch that. But some of the songs, and this album came out in let's see here. This album came out in 1988, the year I graduated from high school with my wife. Hi, Marcy, love you. Thank you again for all this that you've started for me. It's been great, and it's my second heaven, like I said, but you're my first heaven. So, but anyway, some of the songs that were on this or that are on this that are just great is "Miracle Man," which was a dig towards. Um, I'm trying to remember the preacher that was Jimmy Swaggart. Jimmy Swaggart. He was always pointing his finger at all the metal stuff. Even Striper, which Striper's Christian metal, even said they were evil and stuff too. But always pointing his finger at all these different bands, and then he turns around and he's got caught being with a prostitute. So the song "Miracle Man" was kind of a dig towards Jimmy Swaggart because Jimmy Swaggart was always so down on Ozzy, saying how evil he was. Um, some other great songs on here is "Crazy Babies," which he did a video for as well as "Miracle Man" on MTV. "Breaking All the Rules," "Bloodbath in Paradise." Gosh, "Fire in the Sky" is another great tune. "Demon Alcohol," another great tune. Just so many great songs on that album. I can't say enough about that Ozzy album. So, one of my favorite albums of his. And anyway, so um, let's see here, and then see what else do I got going on here. That might be it. Oh, I've got my Poison shirt on tonight, but I wanted to bring up Bret Michaels from Poison. He's got a tour that he's gonna do and that starts March 18th in let's see, it's in Niagara Falls, Ontario, and Niagara Falls, California. I'm not sure which that is. I'm sorry, not very good with some of the cities out there, but Niagara Falls, and it's at the OLG stage at Falls View Casino. And then that tour will continue, and his last date will be August 6th at the PNC Music Pavilion in Charlotte, North Carolina. That'll be the last date of his touring. So unless he decides to extend it out, but so anyway, so that's it for music news, pretty much. Kind of wanted to show you some of my music collection a little bit. Um, Let me get another puff on this. Maybe I better ash it, but as you can see, it is. Sorry, I didn't mean to be aggressive there. But it's got some really nice gray white ash on there building up. But I better ash it so it doesn't ash on, or fall apart on me here. So anyway, but yeah, before I get into some of my stuff here, as you can see, I'm getting close to the band. So I'm going to go ahead and carefully take that off now. And actually, I'm going to slip. I was able just to slip it right off. Um, And then I was able to slip the other one right off too. I actually never even had to pull it apart, so that's cool. But anyway, but still, the construction on this has been great. Still holding together very well, but it's just got a really nice, dark, smooth, oily wrapper on it, and there's some veins running through it from the leaf, but not real bulky. So let me get another sip of my wine really quick and my tequila. Cheers once again to you guys tuning in today, and cheers once more. Ah, that's good. Both of those are so good, and they are pairing great with the cigar actually today. Well, yeah, I'm getting down to about halfway here, so got a little bit left on this. But anyway, I had let me set this down just for a second. But I had talked about this Striper album, how it was kind of taken off the market at one time, and maybe you guys, if you can see that, hopefully. But as you can see, Michael is holding. Well, he's not really holding it, but there's a pentagram here, and it looks like he's holding it, but really he had ripped it off of this off of Satan that they're throwing into hell. But this album cover raised a lot of controversy amongst all the Christian people that were already not real for Striper doing this kind of music, claiming to be Christian. And so they ended up taking it off the market just to stop causing problems and confusion with everybody out there that believed that Michael Sweet was holding the pentagram, which he really wasn't. He had just ripped it out of Satan's hand, and that's what was going on. But it's such a great cover, and I got this from. I ordered this. Um, Gosh, see, where did I get this at? Um, Gosh darn it, I forget where I ordered. It came. This is an import actually. This came from. Um, Gosh, I'm gonna have to look on here again where this came from. But it took me a long time to get when I ordered it. Um, let's see here. Argentina. It came from Argentina. And this album came to me in such good condition. And I bought this album probably about 10 or more years ago. And I bought it off of a gentleman on eBay that had a really good rating. So I went in and took a chance on it. And it took about a month or more to get this to me. But it finally came, and I was so excited when I got this because I had almost bought the cassette when I was younger, and and I didn't. And then when I went to go buy it, that's when they had taken all these out of the stores that had this cover on it. So I was pretty bummed about that, and so set that over here. And so I was pretty bummed that I missed out on having that version because the version they went to was just a black cover. Sent to hell with the devil down the middle, then it had Revelation 2010, and the title of the album and the Revelation 2010 was all in red, and the rest was black, and it just had Striper's logo up in the corner. So that was the cover they went to. So, but anyway, and then another rare cover is this one here. This is the very first Rat album, just called Rat, and this came out I think in 1980. I want to say 1982 or 83. But on the cover of this, it's got, if you guys remember who Tawny Katane is, that's whose legs is on the cover here. So that's Tawny Katane's legs, and I don't know if you remember Tawny Katane. She was married to David Coverdale from Whitesnake, and if you guys are into Seinfeld, the old TV show Seinfeld, she was actually on one of those shows with on the Seinfeld show, and so, but she was, but Tawny was born August 5th of 1961 in San Diego, California, and then she passed away May 7th of 2021 in Newport Beach. So, and I'm guessing Newport Beach must be in California. I'm guessing. So anyway, but a couple really rare albums, and I was lucky to get a hold of this copy the way the shape it's in. But of course, I got this off of a gentleman on eBay as well that had this, and came in great shape. So I've had this album for a couple of years now. But anyway, so just a couple albums that are pretty rare. And if you got them, if you have these albums, let me know that you do and what you think of them. But I think they're both really good albums. Rat, um, redid a couple of those songs on that first album on one of their later albums. So, but anyway, it's a good album for a debut album. But there, it was really good, I thought. Um, and then, of course, I wanted to see if you guys remember this album, Cinderella, Long Cold Winter. That came out in 19. Let's see, was it 88? I believe it was 88 that this album came out. Um, and I remember getting to go see these guys over in Casper, Wyoming, and they they put on such a great show. Winger had just started out at the time, and Bullet Boys had just started out at the time, and so I got to see both of those bands as they started out, opening up for Cinderella, and that was a great show. Someone didn't care for Kid Winger very much, and threw a beer can at him and spit on him, and Kid Winger just about jumped in the audience during that show to beat the crap out of this guy. But yeah, so anyway, but a lot of great songs off of that album. And of course, their very first album, which was called Night Songs, that came out in '87. It had "Shake Me" on it. And, let's see what else. "Nobody's Fool" was another great song that they had. So "Shake Me" and "Nobody's Fool." And "Somebody Save Me" was another song they brought out off of that album that was really good. So if you don't have anything from Cinderella, you got to pick up Cinderella. That's such a classic band. And Jeff LaBar passed away, almost 2 years ago, or maybe it's been almost three now. So he's truly missed. Was Jeff LaBar was one of the founding members and their lead guitarist. So anyway, so he is missed. But some of the songs on this album that are really good is "Falling Apart at the Seams." "Gypsy Road" is another great song off of here. Let's see what else. "Long Cold Winter," of course, the title of the album. That song, great song. That whole album's very bluesy and very grungy and very bluesy. I love it. So anyway, so when we went to go see him in Casper, Wyoming, me and a buddy of mine went to the Hilton Inn, and we were hanging out, and we wanted to meet, the guys, and we waited and waited and waited, and we finally kind of gave up on trying to meet them. So we started to leave. I turned around to talk to my buddy, and he goes, "Hey," and he pointed his finger, and I turned around, and I ran right smack into Tom Kiefer. I mean, just right smack into him. He was opening the door to the hotel as I was opening the door to walk out, so we just smacked right into each other. And I looked up, and he's looking at me like I was out of my mind. But anyway, so we said, well, gosh, we've been trying to, meet up with you guys. So we got to meet the whole band, and I've got pictures of me and Striper together, or Cinderella together, and I'll have to dig those out and try to show them to you sometime. I've got them put away in my storage. I'll have to try and find them sometime. But anyway, so we got to stand there and talk to those guys, and so we, and that was actually, I've got the dates are on these backstage passes, and plus I've also got my original ticket, but you can see that there. But July 19th of 1989 is when we actually got to meet those guys. I kept thinking '88 is when I got to go see that concert, but it was actually in '89 that I saw those guys, and it wasn't too much longer after that when I moved off to Florida to get involved with music. I'll have to relight my cigar again. um, but anyway, so yeah, July 19th is when I got to see them. And we ended up meeting a couple guys from the stage crew, and they passed on to those backstage passes to me that were extras. And then, of course, I got the autographs right there of Cinderella. And then I can't remember the lead singer for Bullet Boys, but that's his autograph, right there. And again, there's a close up, the autographs and the backstage passes. Got a couple guitar picks, or a few guitar picks from Cinderella. We were close enough to get some guitar picks from them during that show. So that's a really great memory. Um, anyway, I'm gonna relight the cigar again. And but the taste notes are getting a little more harsh here, or not harsh, a little more stronger, I should say, not harsh. That's not the right word. Anyway, let me light this again a little bit, and I'll continue with some storytelling. So, but anyway, I meant to tell you guys, if you go to relight a cigar, make sure you kind of in your ashtray, just kind of roll the cigar down in and get that extra ash off of it. That way, when you do puff on your cigar again, you're not breathing in a bunch of ash, So anyway, those can be kind of harsh if you do. So get that extra ash off of there, and then it'll be easier to relight, and then you won't get a bunch of harsh ash taste through your cigar. So, um, but anyway, so far, I'm really enjoying the cigar overall. I really am. I've had to relight it a few times, but I think it's my fault. I talk too much and I don't puff enough. So that's probably my fault. So I'm not gonna hold that against the cigar too much. I have had some cigars where I don't have to puff on it very much, and it keeps staying lit all the way through. So, but it's just part of the experience. It's really not too big of a deal if you have to relight your cigars. Really not a big deal. But anyway, what are you guys up to tonight? Um, yeah, tell me what you guys are up to, and tell me what's been going on with you guys. Let me know that you're doing okay. I want to know. I just do. I want to build some good relationships through this podcast. I want to communicate with you guys. Please communicate with me. Sign up with my channel on YouTube. Sign up on my Facebook page under Harper Cigar Lounge. Leave me your comments. Leave me your feedback. I want to know what you guys are enjoying about these shows. What maybe you're not. If there's something you want me to discuss more of, maybe less of, I don't know. I just want to know. I want to know what you guys are, thinking about these shows, and if it's interesting you enough to continue watching them. But I do hope we can build some good relationships and get to know each other. But if you guys message me, I'll make sure I message you back. I will make sure of that. I don't take my friendships for granted. With my listeners and my followers and my audience. This is more than just a podcast. This is a way to bring cigar smokers and people that love music together. And even if you're not, maybe not into hard rock, heavy metal, maybe you're into some other music, let me know, what those groups are. More likely, I might be a pretty big fan of them as well. So let me know, let me know. But I just want to keep building a good relationship and rapport with all of you. And I hope more people will join this YouTube channel and the cigar, my page on Facebook. I hope you guys will sign up on both of those and keep in touch and check into it and stay tuned to it and see whatever I put up, and but let me know what you guys think. And I hope you guys will enjoy. I hope you guys are enjoying the show so far. I really do. I hope I'm doing enough to keep you learning about things and to just enjoy me reminiscing about my past. And I just want to know about any good moments in your life too. Whatever it is, I don't care. I want to know whatever it is. So, but there's nothing great about. I mean, there's nothing like bringing cigars and people together and bringing. And I mean, music does the same thing. Music brings people together as well. It's music's a language. It's a lifestyle, just like cigars are. And I believe cigars have its own language as well. But cigars and music, both of those things bring people together. And even though my podcasts are more geared towards hard rock metal, but that's okay. Let me know what music taste you have. Maybe you're not into hard rock metal, but let me know what you're into. And you're still welcome here, whether you're into hard rock metal or not. But I'm just hoping you're enjoying the stories and different things. So about things in my past. So another album I kind of want to bring up um, is let me see here. Get my stuff situated here. Another great album is Aerosmith Pump. That is another great album that maybe you guys don't have, or maybe you do have. But let me know what you guys think of that album. And this album came out in, I want to say it came out in '89. Yes, I'm right, 1989. Damn, I'm good. I am damn good. I'm going to throw the horns up because of that. I'm that good. You guys probably think I'm totally nuts here, but no, I mean, I try to remember things and try to be accurate as possible. But yeah, so this came out in 1989. But anyway, I had the chance to see Aerosmith in Miami, and Joan Jett opened up for him, and got to meet Joan Jett, got to meet her guitarist. He was out in the front of the arena uh, buying guitar picks from a seller that was, that went there to see him for Joan Jett. And his name is Rudy Bird, if you guys remember Rudy Bird, the lead guitarist for Joan Jett. And he was just such a nice guy and just a great guy overall. We got to talk, or I got to talk with him for a little bit. Other people talked to him too, but I was there by myself. I didn't go with anybody. So I got to stand there and talk to him for a little bit. And such a nice guy. And then got to meet Joan Jett real quick. And got to meet the guys of Aerosmith really quick. Got to meet Joe Perry and Steven Tyler and oh gosh, I met all of them. Joe Perry and Brad Whitford. Got to meet all those guys, and so how I got to meet those guys is just got done talking to Rudy Bird, and then all of a sudden these two black SUVs pull up, and I'm standing right by the arena where all the vehicles go inside the arena. So these black SUVs pull up, and they roll down the window, and the guys are in two separate vehicles, but they shook my hand and shook everyone else's hand and told us to enjoy the show. And so, God, I got to shake Aerosmith's hands, and to this day I'm like, wow, what a privilege that was, and but and so hanging out after the show a little bit, got to meet one of the stage crew guys, and that was leaving, and he passed on that backstage pass to me. So that was April 22nd of 1990 is when I got to see those guys. And that guitar pick is from Rudy Bird. And or I'm sorry, this pick right here is from Rudy Bird. And the other guitar pick that I got during the show was from Tom Hamilton, the bass player for Aerosmith. So, and this picture of Steven Tyler came out of a Rolling Stone magazine that I had gotten a hold of at that time. So I thought that'd be a neat thing to frame as well with those, with my ticket, the guitar picks, and the backstage pass. So, anyway, something I'll cherish forever. Getting to meet those guys and hang out with them or for just a split second, and before they went on into the arena. So to get ready for the show. And then later, I ended up finding a bootleg copy of a show from the Pump Tour from a different city. It wasn't from Miami, but their stage was so cool. The whole stage was set up to make it look like they're on top of a big hotel. So behind them, it said hotel backwards, all lit up. And but that show was just incredible. That concert from their Pump Tour was just it was just incredible. It was one of the best shows I'd ever seen. And of course, Joan Jett put on such a great show that night as well. So anyway, so just some good memories there. Um, and then of course I had brought up to you guys that on the last episode that I got to see Def Leppard at McNichols Arena in Denver, which is not around anymore. McNichols got tore down later, but got to see them during the Hysteria tour, and I got to watch them make the videos for Pour Some Sugar on Me and Armageddon. It was the other video they did, and then they did a full concert video from that show. And so anyway, but so let's see here. And Tesla was just starting out at the time. They were doing they're touring for the Mechanical Resonance album they had just put out. So got some guitar picks from Tesla that they threw out that night, and then got a guitar pick from Phil Collin from Def Leppard that night, and then here's a backstage pass that I got off of one of the backstage crew guys that I got to talk to. Didn't get to go backstage with the guys, but my thing has always been to go find the stage crew. If I couldn't get backstage, at least try to get something off of one of the stage crew guys. And so he gave me that backstage pass, and so I'll always cherish that. And Steve Clark has passed away, and he's been gone a while. But man, Steve Clark, rest in peace. I miss you. I'll never forget you. And but yeah, so there's it's kind of a tour book, but it's a book about them that they were selling at the concert that night. So it's called Animal Instinct. So I picked that up, and I don't know if that's what that's worth now, but it might be worth quite a bit. I don't know. You tell me if you know of that book or you own it. Let me know what you know of it. So let me know if you have that or not. And then of course I got to see Def Leppard twice that year on that tour. But here's the ticket from McNichols Arena. Let's see here. I'm trying to get that centered. Yeah, you're not gonna probably be able to see it very well. Well, there we go. Def Leppard from McNichols Arena, and that was February 12th of 1988. So, and then I got to go see him in Casper, Wyoming later, and they played July 4th at Casper Event Center in Casper, Wyoming that same year in 1988. And after that show was over, they had a big, huge fireworks show out in the parking lot of the arena. And so that was a great show as well to see with them again. And Tesla was opening up for them again, so they're pretty much with them that whole tour. So getting to see Tesla when they first started out twice, getting to see Def Leppard on probably the biggest tour they had ever done, and they were at their peak definitely. But I'm a huge fan of all the Def Leppard stuff, huge fan of all of it. So anyway, so it was great to get to see Def Leppard twice on that tour. Of course, they've announced a big tour with Motley Crue this summer. And so I'm looking to see if they're going to be in my area, which would be the closest area for me would be Denver, Colorado, which is about an hour and 45 minutes from here. or Lincoln, Nebraska, which is about 7 hours from here, or Omaha, Nebraska, which would be 8 hours. So I'm hoping to catch them in Denver. I don't want to have to drive that far to see them. I've driven to Lincoln and Omaha in the past to see Kiss, which is my favorite band besides Striper. So it was definitely worth those trips. To see Kiss on their farewell tour, the end of the road tour that they've been doing. I drove in a blizzard, 6 hours to get to their show, so it was worth the trip definitely. But that goes to show how dedicated Kiss fans are. They'll do anything to get to a Kiss show. So anyway, but yeah, if I can see him in Denver instead, that'd be great. But I'd love to see Motley Crue and Def Leppard again. I've seen Motley Crue before too, and they put on some great shows in the past. And Def Leppard always puts on a great show, and so I'm hoping to catch those guys together definitely. So, and then I was speaking of Bullet Boys when I got to see them open up for Cinderella. So I don't know if you guys have this album or not, but they had Smooth Up In Ya, and let's see, the other song was well, they had Hard as a Rock, and let's see. Oh, For the Love of Money was the second video they had brought out. So anyway, if you guys have this album, let me know what you think of it. And that came out in 1987. But that was a great show they put on when they were with Cinderella back in '87. It was great to see them just starting out, and they put on a great show. But if you don't have this album, look it up. It's a really, really good album. Really good album. And it's very bluesy type hard rock metal. So but anyway, this cigar, um, it's starting to kind of do a little bit of an uneven burn there. Right? It's so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and touch it up a little bit around the edges that aren't burning down yet. Maybe it was the way I relit it that caused it. I don't know, but we'll try to get that even back out so it fixes itself. Because I've got a little bit of a cigar to enjoy still here, and it's been pretty good so far overall. So. Touch up just a little bit more. Hopefully, that'll do the trick. But yeah, I'm down to my last third here. As you can see, I'm not much left. I'm down to my last third. Getting some pepper again. Getting still some cedar. Getting some spices of some sort. Not sure what kind of spices, but um, I don't know if it'd be a nutmeg or a cinnamon, but a little bit of something like that. And getting some, I don't know, for me, which the reviews didn't mention it, but I'm getting a little bit of like a real dark coffee type of a black coffee taste. So, but if you guys have smoked the cigar, let me know what you think. Let me know if you are getting the same taste notes I am. Um, yeah, I'm curious to know if you are or not. But so let me know. Let me know. And then, gosh, I wanted to also show you guys something else I brought out. Um, I worked with Striper back in '90 during the Against the Law tour, and that's where I first got to know those guys. And Trickster opened up for him, and so kind of wanted to show you this poster I got from Trickster at the time. Um, there it is. So that was their tour poster, and they autographed it for me. You can't see the autographs on it very well; they're kind of up in here. And but I got autographs from those guys, and they were great guys. I really enjoyed working with those guys when they were opening for Striper on the Against the Law tour back in '90. They were really nice guys and very enjoyable to be around. And but when I was with Striper, did backstage security, did personal assistant work for him, did some stage work for him, did some drum tech for Robert a little bit. But wanted to show you the advertisement that was at, and they came to a club I worked at. It was Club Deco, but then they changed it to Club Passion. But this was the advertisement that was up on our window at the club at the time. Um, so just some really rare stuff from my past that you will not see anywhere, unless someone out there happened to get this off of the door of the club I worked at. But just wanted to show that to you. So, and MTV was kind of supporting that tour a little bit. As you can see, it says 1-800-dial MTV to your request, Give It To Me Good, which was a song that Trickster had just brought out. And after they worked with Stryper, after they were touring with Stryper, they went on to tour with Kiss on their Hot in the Shade tour in '90, and then they did some opening up for the Scorpions. So they did very well. They ended up doing pretty well, and they lasted for a little while, and then they've been kind of doing some acoustic shows lately. But Gus, their drummer, or let's see, was Gus? Let's see here. I gotta look again. I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Anyway, one of the band members went on to do some country music. So no, it was Mark. Um, yeah, it was Mark, and his nickname was Gus. And I've got a picture of him and Robert together that I showed on my last podcast. Where, well, maybe I didn't show that picture, but if you go onto my Facebook or page, my personal page, or my Harper Cigar Lounge page, you can, if you scroll through everything, you'll finally run into it. But I posted the pictures of him and Robert together from that tour in the club that I was working at, which is a really rare photo because I'm the only one that owns it. So, but a really neat picture of Robert Sweet from Stryper and Gus together that I captured. Let's see here. And then, let's see here. And then this was another advertisement that we had up on the windows that said upcoming events. And this was at the club they came to. And so some of the other acts that were there, Sunday, October 7th of 1990 was the Rippingtons, if you know who they are. Kind of a punk band, if I remember right. And then Monday, October 22nd was Stryper and Trickster. And then October 26th was a film festival that we held at our club. And then Wednesday, November 21st, Sonic Youth was at our club. And then November 29th, Skinny Puppy was at our club. So our club played, or had a lot of punk bands, and they had dance artists there, and they had some underground bands there like Nine Inch Nails at the time. And like I said, dance artists. I mean, we had Expose there, and that's where I first got to know Expose. And I got a funny story to tell you. I told Dave Garofalo this that owns Two Guys Cigars. I told him how I got started with those girls. Um, I was in the backstage area after their show, and I was talking to him, and their manager came up, and he was pretty drunk, and he told me to go back to work and to quit talking to him, and so pretty much told me I wasn't good enough to talk to him. So I told him to fuck off pretty much, and so he threw a punch at me. He missed, of course, fell down, and the backstage guys we had picked him up and threw him out of the club. And so Georgia, if I'm pronouncing that right, the lead singer, one of the lead singers for Expose, she asked me if I was interested in touring with them for a month to do some stage production and to drive one of their equipment trucks, and which had all their music gear in it. And so I was able to get it worked out. The school I was going to, the guy that got me into the school, I won't reveal his name, but he was good friends with them, and he set it up to where I could go ahead and leave the school for a month to go tour with those girls. So I did that for a month, and then I went back, and he helped me get caught back up on everything. But so anyway, yeah. So the school I went to, I learned, video production, concert production, songwriting, and my my recording engineering teacher, uh, Rob Freeman. He produced Kiss's. He helped produce the Kiss Look It Up album, and produced Ace Frehley's solo album they were in makeup back in the 70s, in 78. So he brought pictures in and showed us pictures of Ace Frehley, without his makeup. So that was pretty cool to see, because at that time, Ace Frehley hadn't really been out doing any solo stuff without his makeup yet. So I got to see what Ace Frehley looked like without his makeup in those days. So anyway, that's kind of it for all my music stories. And I hope you found some of that enjoyable a little bit. So hope you did. But this has been a great hangout today with all of you, and this has been a party to me. I'm going to throw up those horns one more time. Uh, so anyway, hook 'em horns. I'm a Texas Longhorns fan, so hook 'em horns. And as Dio would always do, Ryan James Dio, always throwing those horns out at you, blessing you, warding away the evil eyes. So rest in peace, Ronnie. I miss you, my Italian brother. I sure hope to see you one day. And Eric Carr, uh, that played drums for Kiss after Peter Criss, that passed away from heart cancer back in 91, 92. Brother, I hope to see you one day too. And gosh, so many great guys have gone away from us. So I hope to see all of them one day. But Steve Vai recently, and Jeff LeBar a couple years back, and um, um, the drummer for Quiet Riot, I for some reason can't remember his name right now. I always forget his name for some reason. But so many great guys, and but you guys, I'm almost to the end of the cigar, and it's been pretty enjoyable overall. I had to relight it a few times, which could be my fault for just talking too much and not puffing enough. But like I said, there's a lot of cigars you don't have to relight. They stay going for you. So I'll have to knock a few points probably, I suppose, off of the cigar for me having to relight it a few times. But again, it's probably partially my fault. But anyway, guys, I've been enjoying this tonight, and I'm glad you tuned in. Thank you so much, and God bless all of you. And I will plan on doing episode 7 next week, and I'm sure enjoying this, guys, and I really truly am very thankful for all of you, and let's keep building relationships together. Let's keep getting to know each other. Let's just let's keep building a good community with each other through this, and you guys just keep in touch with me. And if you get on my YouTube channel, please put your likes, please put your comments, sign up to the channel. It means the world to me. And but God bless you guys. And again, I'll just before I end this, um, just want to give you some taste notes again. Uh, Cedar. I'm getting pepper. I'm getting some black coffee. Um, Getting a little bit of sweetness throughout it once in a while. And I'm not really sure what the sweetness is exactly. The the reviews say it's like a molasses. I guess I'm not really, or a toffee. I'm sorry, I'm not really getting a toffee, but I am getting some kind of sweetness. And it said carrot cake as well, which I really didn't get any carrot cake taste notes, I guess. But overall, a pretty good cigar. Probably, I'm gonna probably rate this cigar probably at 90. The taste notes are matching up completely with what they described, but that could just be my own palate that's keeping that from happening. But I mean, it's been great construction. It's been burning evenly overall, except for one time I had to touch it up, so I got to dock a point or two off of that because of that and because of the relights. But other than that, I would suggest a cigar to you guys. And sometimes when you smoke a second one of these or a third one of these cigars or any kind of cigar, it sometimes that doesn't happen with the rest of them. Sometimes just once in a while you'll get a cigar that causes or happens with that way. But if you have 2 or 3 times of smoking a certain cigar, you'll probably get a different experience every time. With the taste notes or with how it burns. So, but it never fell apart on me. It never cracked. The construction stayed great. The ash has been great. The smoke has been great. The aromas from the smoke has been great. So overall, I really do recommend the cigar to you guys. And again, it was the Southern Draw Firethorn Toro 6 by 52. So if you run into one, try it yourself, see what you think. So, but anyway, I'll let you guys go for now. Thank you for everything. Thank you for tuning in. God bless you guys. And I will see you guys soon. But before I let you go, cheers to you one more time. Cheers to you one more time. So thanks for everything, guys. Keep it metal. Keep smoking. And God bless you guys. And I will see you on the next episode, and I'll see you in all the comments. And I look forward to talking to each and every one of you. Bye-bye now.